The 2017-2018 season of the Chattanooga Theatre Centre is upon us, and joining us this morning to talk about a huge production is Jacqueline Cox. Jacqueline, welcome to the show and welcome back to town.
So good to be home.
You actually went to Notre Dame High School here.
I did.
And then you went big time all the way up to New York.
I did. I started out in Notre Dame High School, and then I went to Birmingham for college, Arkansas for a master's, and then to the big city of New York.
And what are you doing in the big city of New York?
Currently, right now, I am a freelance lighting designer, and I also am an assistant lighting designer. So I work with a Broadway lighting designer currently.
And you've actually worked Broadway shows. And
yeah.
So many of the shows that we see, you kind of take the lighting for granted. But you kind of break that mold all to pieces.
I like to. Lighting is quite difficult, and I think a lot of people don't understand what goes into being a lighting designer and what goes into the tech part of being in theater.
What did you think when you got the call from Julie and the folks at the Theater Center going, hey, come back home, we want you to be the guest lighting designer for this production?
It was so exciting, especially to come home. I started out at the Chattanooga Theatre Centre when I was 11 doing theater camps. That's actually where I found my love of theater, was at a theater camp. And so I ended up working, moving away and working, and then I came back and...
Here's, I don't know if we could go back to that previous picture or not, but there was a big, see, take a look at that. This is just a small part of what you do. How long did it take you to strike that?
It takes quite a while. That has a ton of practicals in it, huge chandeliers. But I love that picture. It's a great way to show lighting in terms of like what it does. There's three main parts we do as a lighting designer, and I think the first is to kind of create atmosphere and ambiance, which you can see in this photo. And the second is to create focus, so kind of lead the audience where they're supposed to look.
Right.
And then the third is to help tell the story without taking away from the action.
And there's so many moving parts in The Wiz. It's got 41 folks in the cast.
So many.
And how do you keep up with everything that goes on? I mean, there's singing, there's dancing, there's acting, and you got to stay on top of all of this.
All of it, yes. And we want to make sure that we can tell the location, which is quite important in this show. You know, to tell when, you know, Dorothy is in Oz, when she's meeting the Scarecrow, all of those moving pieces. So I like to break it down and just in my cueing, and I think that's the way we're really able to show location.
What was the biggest challenge for you in doing The Wiz?
I'm going to have to say, I think it came down to two parts. I'm not used to doing a lot of the physical labor anymore, which is kind of nice. So I had to do some physical labor, which was kind of new for me.
Right.
And then the other, I think, was just doing the perfectionist, where I want to make sure I see everybody's face, where I can make sure they're nicely carved out from the scenery. So I think those two things were probably the most difficult for me.
So it's kind of like you're coming full circle. You're back
totally.
home here. So let me get this straight. Graduated from Notre Dame, said you went to Alabama. You got your master's degree.
In Arkansas.
In Arkansas,
Yeah.
and now you're living in New York. What are you, like, 80?
26 years old.
Well, that's you've got a huge resume and a lot of accomplishments.
And I've got so much left to do.
Like what? What's next after The Wiz?
So after this, I'm going to be assisting on the Big Apple Circus, and then the Broadway show that I was assisting the designer for. We're going to go on tour to Canada, and that's next on my to-do list.
And you're probably booked way far in advance, aren't you?
Pretty much. I've got stuff coming up all the way through next year.
All right. Jacqueline Cox, so good to have you
Thank
back
you for
home.
having me.
Again, The Wiz kicks off, and this is year number what for the Theater Center? 94. Wow, unbelievable. Always a fabulous production at the Chattanooga Theatre Center. Check out their website. It is theatercenter.com.